Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I'm your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. We've been doing this since 2017, and we have built an incredible community of digital hospitality leaders from all over the globe. People that believe that all businesses need to be digital first, and every business is in the hospitality business. We believe it in our DNA. We are living through an incredible time to be alive, an incredible time to be in business. We also believe in the 4 C's: content, commerce, communication, and community. 4 C's, they all live on the phone. If you're new to this show, welcome. We're grateful to have you. If you are a longtime listener, we're grateful that you're part of this community. Hopefully you join our LinkedIn live calls every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time. That is LinkedIn live audio. It's a chance for you to come on stage, talk about your restaurant, talk about your sales background, marketing background, content creation background, but it's a chance for you to be a part of our growing community. Today, we are going to be talking about sales, marketing, revenue, go-to-market with the master. The master, he is here, Michael Beck, co-founder and CRO of Popcorn GTM. Michael, welcome to the show.
Sean, thank you. I'm humbled by that kind of introduction. I'll try to live up to it for your audience.
Well, so let's give context. I always love context and storytelling. How did we find each other in this wide world?
Good golly. Well, we've been in concentric orbits for years, right? I mean, we've been around probably the same places in about the last 15 years, but most recently, the tribe, I'll call it, was picking up a lot of momentum getting ready for NRA. And some folks were planting flags on let's get together. Let's meet up at the NRA sign. Some compatriots of mine are big fans of yours that have been saying, hey, I don't know why you're not talking to Sean yet. And I'm like, I don't know either. And I actually, by this point in time, you're getting kind of big out there. I'm like, I don't know if I can talk to Sean now.
Come on.
Just kidding. I know, I'm just kidding. But NRA was really kind of the genesis. Like we started going, you know what? I think we both have some of the same stories to share and some common ground we've walked. And I can't tell you how excited I am to be here right now.
Well, let's start with a little bit of background. Give us a little bit of origin story, high level. Break it down for us. What is your career? What has your career led you to right now? But give me high level.
Yeah, and thank you for guiding me to that because I can get pretty verbose.
No, I'm guiding the ship here. That's my job.
Well, I think I matched a certain profile. Somebody once told me that people in restaurants are a bunch of mismatched socks that ended up in the same drawer. I'm a mismatched sock. So out of high school, I went to the Army just to get some direction and guidance and some discipline in me. I did the first Gulf War, which was fun. After that, I'd used my Army College Fund, went to culinary school and got my chef certification from Le Cordon Bleu. And then opened up a catering company and did some fun stuff with celebrities in Hollywood via Creative Arts Association, a Century City Bar, which is kind of the entertainment law hub in California. And then somewhere along the way, I did a reboot and I ended up working at a software company in Costa Mesa called Altimetrics, which was my first stop in enterprise software. And I found out that I was really excited about tech, and I'm a food person in my private life. And so this kind of crossroads of my passions, like Fred LaFranc talked about Ikigai a couple of years ago, right? What are the intersections of what you love, what you can make money doing, and what you can bring to the world needs? I like food and I like tech, right? And so my family's been restaurateurs my entire life. And so I learned I could sell software pretty good and tell a good story. And so I had some success there, and I got invited to come over to some other companies, Expient and then Restaurant Magic, which I was there for about 8 years until we sold the bar. And then after that, founded my little organization here with my business partner, Paul Molinari. And we found kind of our niche. And we feel really good about who we're helping.
What do you do?
Yeah, so we help tech companies that focus on hospitality technology. We help them launch.
So Popcorn GTM, how do people engage in Popcorn GTM?
Well, I have this little cartoon I made early on, which is it's actually the Swedish chef from the Muppets. And he's got this thing he's trying to cook, and he's got this, and I always equate that to the creator of a piece of software. I have this great idea, but I don't know where to go with it, what to do with it, who to talk to next. And that's really what we do, right? If you think about NRA, what our biggest value to our client is being the Sherpas that connect them to all these industry people like yourself. that can help them get those neural networks built that accelerate them to market. You're talking to one of them right now, and some others that we're also connecting with too, right? On the marketing side, getting the branding down, the brand message, the voice, the story, right? One of the things we like to do actually is that we do a police composite of sorts about your brand. What does it look like? What does it sound like? How does it dress? What's the clothes it wears? What car does it drive? Now let's watch that through the lens about everything we say through the brand. Does that brand talk this way? And your team gets kind of on board with it. And then sales, which is everything from revenue operations, infrastructure, CRM, sales, education disciplines, carving out that TAM, SAM, and SOM, these fun acronyms the MBAs like to talk about.
Tell me more. We're going to go deep into sales.
Yeah.
We love sales. We don't talk about it enough, and I don't have experts in sales to break it down high level, because as someone that works in tech, when you get in sales and you start to talk tech, you lose the restaurant owner. So anything that we can explain to my 7-year-old son, if we can explain it to my 7-year-old son, we can explain it to someone like me, and then hopefully the audience.
I love that. So part of they taught me the acronyms TAM, SAM, and SOM, which TAM is total addressable market, right?
What is it? What is
total addressable market? The TAM,
yeah, my favorite.
Right?
Yeah, there you go.
Then you got the SAM, or serviceable attainable market.
Okay.
I'm going to get this wrong. I'm on podcast. TAM, SAM, and SOM. So serviceable obtainable market. And serviceable available market. Sorry. So TAM is total available market, serviceable available market, and serviceable attainable market, meaning what you can get that's out there, right?
Got it.
And so what we help them do is the beautiful thing about what we do, and the bad thing is our world is finite.
The what?
It's finite. Our world is finite. Unlike a B2B, a B2C conversation where I'm trying to find another Sean to buy my stuff, there's billions of you, right?
Yeah.
Technologists are all trying to sell to a certain set of restaurant companies. And at the top, that's maybe 150 brands across large scales. And then when you talk about across nationally, maybe a million rooftops. And they're all trying to get the eyeballs of the same people. So what we do is we help them carve out their serviceable, obtainable market. Who can I get? Who fits my bill?
Yeah.
Because you shouldn't wake up every day going, God, I wonder who I'm going to call now. That should be mapped out on day one, because we can make our grab. These are our people. They just don't know they're our people yet, right? And so that's one of the things we help with. And then back to your storytelling, what message resonates with the CFO or a CEO or a CTO or a COO who's just dying because operations are hurting? What does he need to hear? What is his pain? What are they thinking about? Because if you're just selling a thing that doesn't solve pain, don't sell it.
Yeah.
Period. There's no amount we won't pay to get rid of pain, and pain tells us the thing we need most. If you do that, I think you're in a pretty good spot.
Can you explain to me blur or not blur?
Ooh, I like that. So early on, Paul Molinari, my business partner, he posted it back, I think, October last year, a piece on LinkedIn about, do you blur or don't you blur your background when you're on a meeting with a client or a prospect or even an interviewer or interviewee? Do you show that part of yourself, right? And it was a mixed bag of comments. A lot of people are just, I like to blur it. I just want to keep it generic. And my popped in because if I zoom out on my room here and your people happen to be watching, they'll see I'm in a very different kind of room, right?
You're watching on YouTube. If you're listening on podcast, do us a favor and go subscribe on YouTube, Cali Barbecue Media. We appreciate that. But then that way you can see Michael's incredible room that I'm happy that he doesn't blur, and I hope he never blurs, but
never.
We'll keep going. So
yeah. So anyways, but I had about a year and a half before he posted that, I actually had an interview with Luke Fryer over at Harry. Fantastic example of this idea. And so I enthusiastically believe to show your background, whether or not you have something there, put something there. Your wife, your kids, the things that make you happy, humanize yourself, right? And so I'm on with Luke and I'm talking to him, I'm like, da-da-da. And he goes, hey, Michael, hold on a second. What's that shit show going on behind you there? I go, what? And I didn't realize he was talking about my room. This is a high level CEO wondering what the hell is going on in the room I'm in, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's my collection. Quite a lot going on there. Your wife lets that happen. And even that, it was still an authentic moment, right?
For sure.
And that's kind of how we started riffing, is I believe that you should show who you are. I believe that what's special about us is or what's special about us, not this thing we sell. Like at the end of the day, people buy from you because they believe in what you believe.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they buy from you because you're authentic. At the end of the day, they believe that you can help them. And I think that first step of the journey for somebody that's selling anything is being human. Like we have an uphill battle in sales. I don't know if you know that. The moment I get on the phone with somebody, even the people that know me, oh
Yeah.
God, what does he want?
Yeah.
Right. And the sooner you can get back to the place of I'm a dad, you're a dad. Right. COVID sucks. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Right. And I think actually, I hate to say it, but that was a silver lining on COVID. It was a level setting human event. There was a moment in time where a CEO had the same problems as a janitor.
Yeah.
And so it all comes back to being able to relate to somebody. So yeah, I'm goofy. Right. If I'm on with the IT crowd, boy, they jam on it. This is great. I my nerd flag flies high.
Yeah.
Um, I still am out to lunch a little bit on if I have it up for the CFO though. He's pretty hard on deciding my financial decisions here.
Really? Walk me through that, because I think that's psychologically there's a lot of reasons why I like the question to blur, not blur.
Yeah.
I think it gets to the heart of why we do this show, why we believe in storytelling the way that we do. I believe that I don't have a business life and a personal life. I believe I have one life.
I believe that too.
If you follow me on Sean P. Walchef on Instagram, if you follow Walchef Wolfpack, like
Yeah.
you get all of my life. You get
Yep.
all the aspects of me as a restaurant owner, me as a content creator, me as a dad, me as a husband, me as a sports fanatic, all the good,
Yeah.
all the bad, and everything in between. And it makes it much easier for me. And because we do so much of this, we talk to CEOs,
Yeah.
founders all the time about storytelling, about platform specific. And so many people are subjective of like, well, what does the other person think?
Yeah.
When you're thinking, should I blur my background for a CFO? You're getting into the mind of that CFO,
Oh
right?
yeah. I mean, I'm a chronic overthinker. Those that know me really well, they'd be kind and say I'm neurodivergent, which means my wife calls it the cartoon in my head. I see visually everything that I think is about to happen in 5 different flavors. Like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Yeah. Um, but yeah, the CFO one, I don't know. If I explain to him that each thing here is rare and highly collectible and actually has intrinsic value that grows with time, maybe, you know. If I told him
How many CFOs have you not blurred it for?
two,
Two.
and they've been a little
How did
judgmental,
those calls go?
a
How
little
did those?
judgmental. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Now, if I
that's
told
where
them it
now
was,
we're getting into the
yeah,
fear. Now we're
but
seeing
but here's the other part. So now
did they
that
close as clients?
yeah, I've closed them,
So
right?
that's 100% close rate.
Yeah, but I think the funny thing is, so I have the client Nomad Go, right? And their VP of sales, fantastic guy, but honestly, he scared the living crap out of me when I met him. Andrew, if you're watching, I'm talking about it, right? Is
Good.
that he was very stoic. Okay, I'm high energy, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna be able to win this guy over, right? And after NRA, on like the second night of NRA, he's like, Michael, I understand you now. I don't understand you, but I understand you now. You whatever you're doing, that really works. And so sometimes this pattern interrupt I like to talk about, I am the pattern interrupt. I want to be different. I want to be memorable, right? And at the end of the day, if they see whatever my wackiness has some guided plan, and it actually does, it ends up to the right places, eventually they stop asking and go, okay, cool. I like that because it is different. It is authentic. And he's not trying to be somebody else. He just is somebody else.
What does
So,
your business partner think? What does he do?
so he's trying to figure that out still. Like, I mean, Paul is
I think
amazing.
all of us as humans are trying to figure out to blur, not
Oh
blur.
yeah.
How much
Yeah.
should we share? How much should we open up of the kimono?
Yeah. Well, I think there's a really interesting split of opinions here. So Paul wouldn't put his kids on camera. That's not his thing. He's not,
I
I would.
understand that. Yep.
Yeah, I get it.
Two completely different trains of thought.
Oh,
Absolutely.
absolutely. Like Shireen, one of my clients over at Cure, you're talking to her.
Yep.
She's not a put them on camera gal, right?
Yep.
Or lady, whatever's appropriate, right? um, but I've always been an open book about my life. You know, when I tried to make my life better, when I went to lose weight, when I decided not to partake of drinking anymore. You know, that whole journey, I told the world because I knew if I told them, I'd be accountable to myself.
Yeah.
Helped me. It was a tool, right? And I'm also really damn proud of my family. Look at us. Look how we're doing. We're growing. Everybody's healthy. Life is great.
Yeah.
You know, if we're not doing this to celebrate that, why are we doing it at all?
Where are you sharing? Which platforms?
I'm a Facebook guy. For my personal life, Facebook. For my business life, LinkedIn. Right. I never got over on the whole Twitter thing. I think I missed the boat by the time it was that important, or maybe it's still important. I don't know.
Yeah.
The reality for what I do for my business, I don't really need to advertise that much. You know, we balance a capacity issue with quality work, right? And so we're fortunate to be able to pick and choose what we're doing, but I'm not in the game of advertising right now. I just want to just be me. You know, if we're friends, that's cool.
But you're in the game of storytelling.
Oh, absolutely. And I got a lot of story to tell, right?
Yeah.
And it spawns it off. Like the other day, I sent you, I sent you a picture or a video of what?
Of your garden.
An indoor hydroponic garden, like totally random.
Amazing.
Yeah, but it's random, right? But I loved it because I know you're a food person.
Yep.
Although I'm sorry, I'm going to say this for the whole world. I think the word foodie is terrible. I'm sorry, world. We all like food.
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, I'm not a breathy, but I also like to convert oxygen into carbon dioxide on a regular basis.
Correct.
Right. So, but the fact that we have a deeper love of food because we make it for people and like to serve people, I was like, dude, check this out. Right. I like to tell stories. I think ever since I was a kid, I want to do show and tell.
You do that with your family and you do that with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a way to learn. My wife likes to juice. So I said, well, let me grow you a garden of things you want to juice that you know where it came from, you know? And there's always a sneaking suspicion one day that I might need my primal skills to get by. I came from a family of, you know, be prepared.
Hey everyone, Avi Gorin, CEO and co-founder of Marquee, and I want to talk about the customer journey for a second. You never know as a restaurant owner where your guests are truly coming from. End of the day, we do see some patterns around two types of search behaviors: direct versus discovery. Direct search, for an example, would be jumping into Google and saying Cali barbecue hours, right? I know where I want to go to eat, but I'm missing a key detail. I need a little bit more information. Discovery, which is the bulk of searches, is barbecue in San Diego, restaurants near me, takeout near me, right? One of the best ways to be found for more discovery searches is leveraging keywords. Reviews are basically free content for you to leverage. Think about keywords that are relevant to your brand, your location, and include as many of those in your review responses as possible, right? How can you go about doing this? Let's set up reports, utilize tools like Google Trends, find out what's going on in your area and how you can help leverage these keywords and review responses, because someone else is doing that, right? If you need some examples, you could do anything from including summer menu, gluten-free menu, leverage specific menu items like the dreaded and beloved spice pumpkin anything in your review responses, right? Let them know what's coming. Let your reviewers know something they should come back and try. And of course, if all of this just seems overwhelming and daunting because you're already running a restaurant and have enough on your plate, just leverage the team at Marquee to do this for you. We handle all of this. We're experts in this space. We can automate this so it's just another item that you know you are taking care of. Again, that's marquee.com, marquii.com. Know you. However, we did recently buy marquii.com. So if you do misspell it, we got you. You'll still find us. We can still help you.
The results are in. National Restaurant Association show. Kyle and Sarah and myself, we were at the Davos sales tax booth and we were polling restaurant owners on the floor. This was a very unscientific poll, but the results are resounding. Restaurant owners do not like sales tax. Nobody likes sales tax. Doesn't matter what business owner you are, small business, big business. Davo automates the sales tax process. We are so grateful that Davo is the sponsor of this show. They automate sales tax at our Cali barbecue restaurants. It is $50 a month. It integrates with all the major point of sale partners, including Toast. So if you want to sleep at night, if you want to not worry about sales tax, go to Davo, check them out, Davo Sales Tax. Let us know how they're helping automate your sales tax in your restaurant so that we can share your Davo story on digital hospitality. Let's talk about sales.
Yeah.
Let's talk specifically about the advice that you give to small organizations and larger organizations.
Okay.
Bring me into what do you look for in a sales leader? What are the qualities?
Oh, wow. That's not the direction I thought you'd go. I love that. Creativity, one, that nothing is the same every day and not one size fits all. I want somebody that if I look for a sales leader, I want grit. It's going to be hard. It's going to be hard every day. It's going to be harder some days than you ever thought it would be. And the only thing that gets you through is grit, right? I hate to say it's boilerplate, but it has to be, integrity has to be boilerplate. It has to be built into it, right? I think somebody that is an athlete. And what I mean by athlete is what's the common, you said you're a sports fan. I can't claim it. Everybody listening will go, yeah, Becky, you're not allowed to talk sports at all. I love it when the Lakers make a googly and win Quidditch. Yeah. It's great.
Keeps me about as qualified as your Marvel universe behind you.
Yeah.
I don't even know if that's Marvel, but that's
it's a whole mix. It's a mix of things. But yeah. Anyways, now I lost my track of thought. No. As far as quality,
athlete, you're looking for the athlete.
Yeah, I want a sales athlete. But what do athletes know? They know their numbers.
Yeah. Stats.
Yeah.
I know my stats.
Yeah. How fast, like an athlete, how fast do you do the 100 meters? How far do you do the 300 meter medley? Whatever your numbers are, you know them down to the microsecond.
Yeah.
So a sales athlete, what's your target this year? If my personal is $650,000. If it's for the organization, it's $4.5 million. Oh, okay. And how many rooftops you need to get that? Well, approximately, if we're selling at $200 a location, then we have to get product for roughly 300 rooftops in place that are going to be building. Oh, all the things that need to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Not, I'm going to hit some groovy number and we're all responsible for it. No, we're not. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Guess what? If everybody's responsible for it, then nobody can be accountable for it. No, we all failed, I guess. It's like saying everybody's an outfield. Here's another sports analogy I'm not saying. And the ball drops. Because there's so many people in outfield that don't know even their position.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, I think sales athlete, that's a big one. And not many people talk about it. I know when people used to advertise for salespeople, say, we want sports minded, but it was more for the idea that they're competitive.
Yeah.
Which is good. Right. But I imagine at this level, somebody's got to be real competitive to be here.
What kind of tools do you see successful salespeople using in tech, specifically restaurant tech?
Well, I think LinkedIn is here to stay for the foreseeable future. It's the world's biggest trade show, and it happens every day, all day long.
It's great. I love that.
If you're not using it, you're wrong. I think AI is the second. If you're not using it, you're wrong. Now, I have some recent examples of this one that really kind of chapped me on it. So AI is great. And to me, it should be the equivalent of the 1950s, excuse the sexist overtones here, secretary. Hey, secretary, please go, type up the Baker report, get what Bob, Jim, and Ted said about it, roll that into a thing. And also, can you remind me to send a birthday card to Dave over at that company's business so he can feel celebrated? Okay, that thing comes over to me. I look at it and I go, what? All right, let's change this, proof it. Let's make this right. Let's make this mine and send it out the door. Right?
Yeah. I'm
seeing people that go to the thing, send the prompt. The prompt is literally the header for the document, and they didn't change a damn thing in their document. And the problem is they don't know that people have been using this long enough to go, hi, ChatGPT, how are you?
Yeah.
In a world of, right? In conclusion, like all these, there's signatures all over the stuff now. And it's like being able to look at a picture and know now emphatically, I'd say, because something is just blurry and smudged and not right.
Well, it's not, it's the AI image versus, I think of it as stock images.
Yeah, it is.
So many people in the world that we're in the content creation, they go, oh, great. We're going to use AI to fix all of our content problems. And that's not the problem. The problem isn't getting copy written and posted. What's the problem is getting something that someone actually wants to read,
that they care about,
engages in them, that they share, that they go, oh my God, Michael, did you see this on LinkedIn? You should share it with your network because it's that impactful. It has that much value.
Yeah. It taught me something. It connected with me in something, or made me laugh and smile that I wanted to share it with somebody.
Correct.
Right. Yeah. So it's I mean, I think on those fronts though, those are kind of the key things, where have you sold before or
Who's the best
software.
salesperson you've ever met? Tell me a story about him.
Oh Lord.
That's not you.
I know. And that was the instinct because I think I saw it in the movie once. It
Every
was me.
salesperson's the best
Yeah.
salesperson.
You know what? I'm gonna
I
give
mean, you
credit
have
here.
some what do you have? You've done $25 million in annual reoccurring revenue, right? Yeah, you can pound your chest on
I
that.
don't want
200
to.
million in customer lifetime value, sale of more
That's
than
what
16,000
websites
units.
are for. Who cares,
Hey,
right?
hey,
Like,
hey,
what am I doing
statistic.
for people
I'm
now?
contextualizing here.
Oh, I love it. Yeah, yeah.
I'm
Um,
contextualizing here. You know what you're
you
talking
know,
about because you've done the job.
the okay, can I give the word to two people?
Sure.
All right.
Tell me a story about him.
Yeah. So I hope I don't get in trouble for this.
Good. That's
I
even
think
better.
Mitesh
Now I
Gala,
definitely want to hear it.
I think Mitesh Gala, CEO of Altimetrics, is the best salesman I've ever met.
Mitesh.
Mitesh.
Okay.
A
Why?
lot of us on this know Mitesh, right? I think he paints a really nice picture. I think he does a really good job of connecting people with the solution in pain. I think he takes people on a wonderful and smart voyage that drops them along all the vistas and stops along the way that cumulatively lead to what needs to happen. But sales isn't just I'm talking to Sean,
Yeah.
right? Sales is, especially enterprise, it's how do we divide and conquer? How do we turn into the tribe to take down the elephant? He's really good at that. You get on that guy, you get on that guy. Let's boom, 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 boom. Orchestration, right? He'll tell you he's not a sales guy, and I will tell you right now, Mitesh, bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
If you have to beat me out, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, this is digital
Yeah, it's all
hospitality.
right.
It's full,
I was actually
full language. All
I should have put some
languages.
voice effect on that with some reverb.
All languages
Um,
are appreciated.
but no, I think Mitesh is extremely smart. I think, he is Machiavellian in strategy when it comes to looking at the big picture and making things happen. He taught me a lot of that. So yeah, I think the best salesperson I ever saw, when we did Taco Bell and we went in there together, you could have written a book on how it all went down, and we won that account, because of that.
Did you use LinkedIn at all?
Yes. Yes, I did. Now,
Amazing.
this is the early years. So for me,
Yeah.
this is about, I want to say 10 years ago.
Wow, that's LinkedIn early.
Yeah, yeah. And I actually stole from a lot of people as I built my LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I stole.
How?
And what I mean by that is so Rob Grimes, I'm gonna throw you under the bus, another person we might all know.
Great.
Rob is a industry linchpin. Everybody knows him really well. He had a very robust LinkedIn. I'm a new guy on the scene. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I need to make contacts. I just went and sniped off Rob's list. He didn't know that you could hide all your contacts that weren't other people's contacts.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm 30,000 contacts in now. Cool. Not that I think I'm maybe 20K followers or something.
That's
I don't
amazing.
know, whatever.
That's
yeah,
fantastic.
So, but back to that one attribute, I got real creative. How do I find stuff? How do I build a community around me? Right. But the other best salesman I ever met, and this is because this person is technical, they are polished. He's younger and he works at CBS North Star now. His name is Michael Davis. Michael is going places. Michael is textbook Sandler sales training, like is everything from the pattern interrupt to taking you through the funnel and the pain submarine and down to the upfront contract in every conversation.
Hold on, let's go back.
Oh, there's a lot of concepts I'm throwing around here.
What's a pain submarine?
Yeah, so it's really, if you look at the journey a submarine takes underwater, if they're going through this layer that is pain, the first thing you're trying to do is uncover all the layers of pain you're going to travel through that will lead you to what the sale is. Think about collecting information. Think about finding out all the things. Like one of the problems that salespeople have is they're so quick to tell people what they do.
Yeah.
And that's not how you sell.
How do you win a court case?
Yeah.
Discovery. Deposition.
Dude, right there. You just graduated from Michael Beck Sales School, right? That is it. Your sale happens in the discovery. If you think it's any other place, you got lucky.
Yeah. It's all
Nobody gives a single crap about your product until they're ready for it, right? They may be there for the meeting, but they're still trying to figure out, are you worthy?
Yeah.
Right. Here's a story for you. So, and this is one of my favorites. And actually, This is one of the best salespeople I ever met, and he's an air conditioner guy.
I love it.
So about 2 years ago, I'm up here in my office. I'm sweating my you know what off. It's summer in Florida. I'm on the top floor of my house, extra warm up here. So I'm like, oh, I'll get another air conditioner here, split unit or something to take care of this floor. And every time we go to Home Depot, or Costco, there's always that person sitting with the clipboard smiling, saying, hey, what you want? I'm like, all right, fine. There's also a lesson in sales. You just have to be there long enough. One day they will say yes, as long as you're there with their heads on fire. Okay. It's really being there.
There's a reason why they're there.
It, right?
Listen, they wouldn't be there, right? These companies wouldn't be there.
It's a numbers game. Or think about sorry guys, that one guy that hangs around with the girl that's just waiting for the boyfriend to screw up. He doesn't have a chance in hell except for that one time. He just had to be there for it.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So anyway, I listened to the person. This is at Home Depot. I'm like, cool. You know what? I need it. I'll take the appointment. So I'm at home and this guy shows up, and I'll be kind. He was disheveled, unkempt. He had some political stuff on his car that didn't align with my own. He had a political thing on his bumper sticker saying, screw the other side. I'm going to play the middle because it's nobody's business what I think here. Right.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that's interesting. And when he came in the house, he walked in, looked around, and he went to his clipboard and he ripped a piece of paper in half. Didn't give me the full piece of paper. Took out a pen and scrawled a number on the back and handed it to me like he was doing a across the table offer. No detail, just $5,000 was on it. Okay. You could call me when you're ready. I'll get right on that. Right. So I go back and I actually have the Costco person. It was a little bit better. And then I had two other people come. And the final one that came, his name is Troy. He's with Neptune Air Conditioning. And Troy was a freaking nerd. Have you ever seen the movie Mouse Hunt? Nathan Lane, Christopher Walken.
No.
You've seen Ghostbusters, right?
I have seen Ghostbusters.
Okay. Imagine proton pack.
Yep.
Spangler, magnifying loop over the eye. The E meter that's detecting it, right? This is my AC guy. Awesome. He looked like he was ready to get launched into outer space. He had every doodad. And so he pushes right past me. He's like, come in. Sure. He was done with me. Where's the air handler? Over there. All right. He was gone. I'm over there. He's jamming things in the holes. He's pointing things at vents. He's going all around my house. Doesn't say a word to me. It just, where's this? Where's that? Didn't bother with me at all.
Fantastic.
I knew I wanted to buy for him before he ever said a word to me.
Yeah. Discovery.
Yeah. He shared his intelligence. He shared his professionalism. I'm sorry. He shared his professionalism. He shared his intention. He shared his desire to know what the real root cause of my problem may or may not be.
Yeah.
And to come back with information to give me the right advice. He's my guy today. I've done videos for him. I've never had somebody I was so excited about. And Walt Disney said it best, right? Do your job so well, that people will find their friends so they can watch you do it.
Yep.
I think it's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah. I know that was a departure. Hopefully that.
No, that's why we do this show. The show is about lessons and stories, and everything that we learn through the stories of other people helps us in our, like, to be honest with you, the things that I've learned launching this show have helped me so much in our own restaurant that it got me out of the restaurant. Yeah. Like, as a restaurant owner, we launched a show in 2017. It was 11 years running the restaurant within the four walls of the restaurant, trying to build, a full service sports bar, barbecue concept in Southern California, trying to do anything to get people from 3.3 million people in San Diego to come to this location to enjoy.
Yeah, you're off the beaten path, right?
Oh, big time. Yeah, big time.
How long ago did you start?
We started 2008 is when we launched the.
And this was your baby, or did you come in?
My baby. Yeah, it was my baby.
And what made you think you could make barbecue for people?
I didn't. It wasn't even a bar. We took over as a breakfast concept. We added a sports bar. Yeah, we added a sports bar, and it was like a year later that we added barbecue to the menu. But to the point of connecting the dots, I always love the Danny Meyer ABCD.
Yeah.
Always be collecting the dots so that you can always be connecting the dots. The more that you do this stuff, the more calls that you go on, right? The more coaching that your team does for your clients.
Yeah.
You've gathered all this information in a career in sales, in a career in these go-to-market. Like, what successful things happen in order to get traction. What are the things that you advise clients that they know they have? Like, we always say that Kevin Costner's full of shit because of Field of Dreams. If you build it, they will come.
Yeah,
Like
not
it's
gonna
the
happen.
greatest lie ever told to
Yeah,
entrepreneurs and business owners is if you
yeah.
build it, they will come. But be so good they can't ignore you, which are
Mhm.
what we're talking about.
Yep.
But still, you have to get traction, and the only way to get traction is to get the sales and to build on top of those sales and to get those customers that are so raving about your product that they're
Yeah.
willing to come on a show like mine or to come on
Yeah.
Restaurant Influencers or to be in a testimonial video or to be in some sort of content. Like that's how you build.
Yeah.
For you, what do you think on the marketing side? We've talked about sales.
Yeah.
Bring me into the marketing and branding.
Well, we're going through this right now with a couple of our clients, right? So, Akira used to be a company called Black Ninja, and nothing really changed about it. But we're sitting there one day, and it's a husband and wife couple that are the founders, and Shireen is kind of the guide holder. I mean, they're both amazing, but she's more the figurehead for this. And one night in the middle of the night, I'm sitting there and I'm watching just some random YouTube, and I wanted to see stuff about Black Ninja. So I'm trying to find some food for inspiration of what we could riff on, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this god awful music video from the 1980s with this gal just shrieking death metal. He's a Black Ninja, and I'm like, okay, wait a minute, maybe he is a ninja, and so we actually made Akira a female figure, right? I think is really smart. Like they, the people in our industry that are making waves and supporting, equal opportunity for women in the workplace. I think it's absolutely massive, and people are really supporting that. So why wouldn't you carve that out as a female led thing, right?
Yeah.
And so to your point, though, is getting, and I mentioned it briefly before, is getting your brand voice down to be congruent with that, because all of that spans from it, right? So I'm a sales guy. I need to say something about whoever I work for. Well, guess what I'm going to do? I have to write people about it. I have to talk about it, but mostly I'm sending a lot of messages to people, and I'm sitting there trying to make this up on my own. You ever see the movie where somebody says something to the next guy in line, the guy after that says a slight modification of that, and the guy after that says like, that happens too. So I'm not the owner of the message. Now I've made it 5 different times. Somebody else in the business next to me who's another sales guy is going to take this great email and modify this. And it's so far removed by the time ever it gets back to marketing. Like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It's not on brand. It's not even our message. Who came up with this and who authorized it? And why are you spending so much time on this? If we're not doing this right, we need to fix it here, not with you. I'm not trying to say salespeople can't write, but that's not their job.
Yeah. What's interesting for me talking to someone like you is we work with so many companies, their sales teams and their marketing teams.
Yeah.
And the best companies that we work with understand that the sales process, the marketing process, the content process, and the brand, it's all one ecosystem.
Yeah.
Like
It's all
the
gears.
further removed everyone is, the worse off the organization is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we're all talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
But the problem that, one of the biggest problems that we see is that marketing people disrespect the problems that salespeople encounter, those pain points that we're talking about, that pain submarine.
Yeah.
If a bunch of people that are in a sales organization, they feel this pain submarine and they have actual text language from what restaurant owners are saying to them over and over and over. And
that
then they
needs to
send
be
it
the product and marketing.
that needs to go into content. We need to make a frequently asked video that's addressing this pain point. But sometimes marketing people are like, well, that's not sexy enough.
Yeah, it goes the other way around too, right? I hate to say it, there's an adversarial relationship in most companies, right?
Yeah, right.
Sales undervalues marketing, marketing undervalues sales, and sales screws over ops because they sell deals and they throw them over the fence and run away in the night laughing, counting their money.
Yeah,
right. This is a common malady, and it's all kind of solved by the same thing. If sales is adopting the message and what we do, they're not going to throw crap over to operations because we've already said what we do, and we're not going beyond the painting outside the box. And if marketing gave love to sales going, yeah, your job is hard and you're eating crap all day long, we get it, but tell us stuff that we need to know so we can make this better for you or inoculate the problem or create a vaccine, so to speak, right? And if you happen to find out some really bad stuff, why don't you tell ops so we can build it or make something better or change that, or tell product, tell product, not operations, both, right?
Yeah.
And so I think there is this thing that I'm my own guy, I'm a lone warrior. God, that's a toxic belief. For a while, and I said I was on Justin Ulrich's podcast recently, and he's like,
That's my guy.
what do you think? Oh,
Big Justin Ulrich fan here. That's a digital hospitality leader right there.
absolutely.
If you don't know about a Vocalize, go listen to a Vocalize. Go listen to Justin. Evocalize, the
That's
master.
fun to say. Yes.
He's come a long way in his storytelling.
Yes. And I'm taking notes. But yeah, we're jamming on these subjects, and it just the kind of same themes came up about that. And so, he does a really good job with it. Honestly, I kind of lost track of where I was talking here because I started laughing away. But yeah, you might have to edit here because I think I lost my train of thought.
It's totally fine.
I tell you, yeah, I dropped on my head as a baby. I ate paint chips, but
no, I interrupted you with the Justin Ulrich shout
That's
out.
okay. I think I interrupted myself. I'm self-interrupting.
That's fine.
Yeah,
we can edit that.
All right.
Or we won't.
No, let's keep it raw, man. Let's just keep going.
And let people know this is why you do. This is how you move forward.
This is not blurring, is what this is. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. So, no, but back to your question. The thing about disconnects and silos in organizations happen. And so then what happens? So marketing goes, well, screw those guys. I'm not going to talk to them anymore. I'm just going to give them my stuff and they can do their own thing. And sales goes, well, screw them. I'll use some of it, but I'm not going to talk to them about any of the other thing. And then operations over there just groaning, going, God, why didn't they take care of us and hand over the stinky thing? And now everybody hates on everybody and everything's changed.
Yeah.
Right. Tear down barriers, tear down walls. Like when I got brought on and promoted at Restaurant Magic, the first thing I did, because there was a known problem between us and operations and sales, I walked over and said, I don't know what the problem is, but we're going to sit down and we need to fix this right now because I'm not going to have a unfriendly relationship with any part of our company. I want to make sure that we are one of your best experiences, not the thing you dread, because we're the engine. Right? Hard conversations. That's what it all boils down to. If you have a problem, talk about it.
Yeah.
With your customers, with each other. I don't know. Sometimes it's too easy to be nice.
At what stage are you no longer going to market?
That also is an interesting, it's kind of a loaded question. So so you can be a startup. Like here's the damn little thing. You know what the biggest startup on earth is?
The biggest startup?
They'll tell you right now they're still a freaking startup.
Amazon.
Ooh. Yes.
Day one.
Yeah. I guess they could use my services. I'm going to call them up. Steve Ellison, if you're listening. Oh, Steven, I know you don't go by Steve. Let's get together. I can help Amazon.
There you go.
But jokes aside, everybody's in some journey to market. Whether they're arrived, I guess, is kind of up to the company. But my specific example, Restaurant Magic and Crunch Time, to us, the battle of the ages between the two. And Paul was on the marketing side. I was on the sales side at Restaurant Magic. He was Crunch Time's marketing. And it's this thing where it's really hard to put a button on what I was about to say. I'm having a morning. I am having an absolute morning here. I had this great example here and I lost it again, man. A lot of stuff in the old Duder's head. And there you go. I feel like Danny DeVito in Always Be Sunny, like just a meandering point that didn't get somewhere.
We'll edit.
Please do, because that was terrible.
We can edit.
Thank you. That was dog shit. That one I will take. That was absolutely god awful because I was actually onto something really great.
We're talking about go to market.
Thank you. Yes. All right. So yes, keep it or lose it, whatever. So both the fucking companies were 10-year-old companies that were startups still.
Yeah.
They had no idea they were still startups. They behaved like a startup. They acted scrappy like a startup. They didn't even treat themselves as a big company yet. Yeah, we don't sell those size deals. It's not really a fit for us. And then somebody said inside, let's do something different. And they tried and it worked. And so go to market is where you are. I hate to put it in a fuzzy, but in your heart, like where am I as a company right now? Like if I talk to Zach Oates at Ovation, right? From the outside, meteoric, he's blasting off. If you talk to Zach, I'm going to market.
Yeah.
Depends on who you talk to, right? But I would say that the questions you should ask yourself are more, Am I going to market if, or like, if the following things are true, you're probably going to market, right? If the following things are true, if you're not sure who you are yet, okay. If you're not sure who your customer is yet or how to get to them, if you're not sure of the ways to say that to them that yield the conversations you're looking to have and the results you're looking to have, you're probably going to market. If your investor conversations aren't working out, or you're in investor conversations when you're going to market, but if your conversations aren't working out the way you want, you need to figure out some things so you can finish the journey. You're not going to bring on the investors you want. You're not going to have the sales you want. If you are relying on your own networks and you are limited by merit of where those roads go, you're probably going to market and you need more than what you have, right? Because if you don't have the people to get to, if you don't know the Sean Walches of the world, if you don't, know the Fred LaFrancs, the Rob Grimes, all the stops along the magical circus that is the NRA and every stop along the way in our industry, you're probably going to market. Like if you're climbing Everest, you're not going to go climb Everest, get a backpack. Hey, I'm really healthy. I'm going to go climb the top. You're going to freaking die. The odds are against you. And guess what? You're going to see a bunch of frozen bodies halfway up the thing that they couldn't even bring down because they're so far up there and nobody can bring them back down.
Yeah.
Right. And so if you're about to start a journey and you don't know where to go next, or if you're on the journey, you don't know where to go next, you're probably on your way to market.
Tell me the difference between inbound sales and outbound sales.
Sure. Inbound sales, my dream. Hi, what do you want? Sure. How many can I get you? Awesome.
How do you build inbound sales?
Yeah, inbound sales is outbound marketing, right? That is everything that has to do with getting your message out in the totality of it. And I think there's a lot of patience you have to have with yourself on that. Like we're working with a company that spun up their first website. It's like, why are our website's not even getting clicks? You're still in Google Sandbox.
Yeah.
They're not going to let you out of it yet, right? But there has to be some outward activity and energy. It's pure physics, right? Object in motion continues in motion unless acted on by equal or opposite force. An object not doing anything, much like you said, if you build it, they will come. It's an inert object just sitting there.
Yep.
You built this wonderful thing, but it's behind a bush, behind a tree, behind a billboard, behind 5 miles off the freeway.
Yep.
Right. So it's the same idea of popcorn. The idea is that I have this kernel of potential. And in it, I pour into it light and intention and love. And same thing with marketing for a brand. You have to put in energy. You have to do the outbound activities, whether it's advertising on digital channels, sponsoring content somewhere, billboards or banners or wherever these places where people that you're trying to get to gather, read, or consume information. Right? The only way you do it. Otherwise, you're like, I'm hoping somebody will tell somebody and it goes viral.
What company do you think does the best job in the restaurant tech space with social content?
Oh God. He rides a spin bike at NRA.
Who's that? George? Jeff Alexander?
Joffrey Alexander.
Joffrey Alexander.
Yeah. And I tell you, I mean, I don't know what his revenues are, but man, the scale he's gotten to, the way he's leveraged social networks, the way he's done it scrappy, the way he's done it deliberately, his placement, super smart, right? I think he does it really well, I was saying this all with Justin the other day is, he asked a similar question. I go, well, I think Wendy's does a really fantastic job because I love their trolley stuff that nobody does trolling. Cool. It's different. Right. Yeah. So yeah, that's your outbound or yeah, your inbound because you've generated all this, but it's still some narrative waves that have to come back to echo back to you. Right.
Yeah.
Outbound is pure grind. Boop, boop, boop. Mailers, trade shows, anything to do with reaching beyond the four walls.
Doesn't outbound also include social now?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. But I mean, so outbound marketing is outbound marketing, but outbound selling,
there we go,
is all the personal touches, all the ways to move it. Like, and the funny thing is back to if they build it, they'll come. Software, I don't know if that's a true thing unless you become the de facto solution, right? You have to get past this fun diffusion of innovation curve, right? So yeah, your first, percentage is the early adopters. Me, right? I got that stupid Rabbit AI tool in my drawer over here, still trying to figure out what it's for.
Yep.
But I'll buy it every time. I'm the first guy at the gate. No, they'll only get you so far, and that's not going to get you to scale.
Yep.
It's when that spread happens that people start grabbing and you hit this tip, and now you're the person or the company they just go to. You have to build that groundswell. So like these companies, they're going to market. We did some research, and the Brita's bullseye, or I don't know, nobody calls it Brita's bullseye, but that's how we talk about lovingly internally. The circle, the 250 that arrive. Yep. That's 250 in the circle. There's thousands outside of that circle in the black that are just clamoring to just get seen on that. And they're all looking for the same set of eyeballs.
Yep.
So is email going to do it? Probably not. Is it going to be that one trade show? Probably not. Is it going to be a concatenation of the things that happen over the years? Like attribution is incredibly hard. What trade show we paid for it? I don't know. I saw him at 9 of them.
I mean, that's the funny thing about what you talk about from a restaurant technology selling standpoint. It's the same in the creator economy. Yeah. The reason why most podcasters fail is that they just quit and they don't put out enough.
Yeah.
Like the output isn't enough and the sustainability isn't enough. The consistency isn't enough. But if you stay and if you learn and if you grow and if you iterate and you get better, all of a sudden people are like, well, I know that he does that thing. Or he's the guy that does that thing because I've seen him do that thing. You should go talk to the guy that does the thing that I know that he does.
We sound like Goodfellas talking. The thing. He goes,
the thing. He does the thing. You know what he does. I don't know. He does the thing with the microphones and the cameras.
Winston Wolfe. He comes in. He fixes it all. Yeah.
I know you have an incredible story about a chicken wing craze in California that I would love for you to share with our audience. Because you're a big fan of stories.
So it's ancient history. I mean, this is really ancient history. We're going back to the 1980s.
Oral history is the most important history. We are all humans.
That's how we pass it on, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
so we're preserving that history.
My dad had a dive bar on 4th Street in Redondo in Long Beach, California. It was called the Honey Bucket. And the bucket was one of those just little, it can't have been more than 1,200 square feet. It was small. Just long bar, shuffleboard, probably as long as the bar, pool table in the back, a little walk-in, that was it. And he was doing maybe 250 a year in just sales back then. And this guy, George Korniewski, came in from Buffalo, New York one day. This is a long-term friend, but he brought his local sauce that he had. And my dad liked to make specials at the bar. He had a deep fryer in the back. He'd get, he'd do steam up some peel and eat shrimp. He'd do weird stuff like Rocky Mountain oysters and turkey fries, always trying to think of something funny for the menu. And chicken wings at the time were trash meat. You could get them for 10 cents a pound, if not less. Like it was literally trash meat. They were putting it into fertilizer. They weren't using it as a retail commodity.
Yeah.
And so the guy said, yeah, listen, you fry them up in some manteca, different, right? And lard, interesting flavor profile. Back then it was Jerky's Red Hot. And then Frank's bought it and became Frank's Red Hot, right? Apple cider vinegar, some other things in there. Still our little secret recipe. His sales went from 250 to 1.5 million.
Stop.
Yeah.
1.5 million out of 1,200 square feet.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Yeah. He had takeout business. There was no apps for that. He had lines out the door. People were going nuts. In fact, to this day, there's a reputation for that little hole in the wall bar and the chicken wings there. And so back to your thing. So that my dad started the craze in Long Beach. Now I can't claim all of it because bubbles of ideas and things happen all at the same time, but I was there for that part of it. And I spent my summers hands freezing in wax boxes packed in ice, pulling chicken wings out and just cutting them.
Wow.
Yeah. And so the fun thing about it, though, is so back then, my dad had a buddy. His name was, everybody then was named after what they did. So Jim the sign painter's actual name was Jim Du Bois. And so all the menu boards in the bar were all hand done. And when the prices changed, a new one was painted. No chalk, right? And so from some mismanagement, my dad lost the bar, which is one of the reasons I do what I do, because I know that giving away drinks doesn't help, right? If that's what you do to get your people. And so everything sold off, and years later, my dad is now, I think it was about 20 years later, my dad's dying of cancer in Palm Springs. It gets happier though in that. He had a bar out there called the Elbow Room in Palm Springs. And one day I put together a website called the Memoriam of the Honey Bucket. I wanted to gather together some old bucketeers, share stories, and give this gift to my dad. And about a year after I started it up, this guy shows up and he goes, "Hey, I found this menu board at a garage sale. And I was interested to know a little bit about it." So I hop on the phone with him. I talk about the bar and da-da-da. And I kind of considered the matter closed. And about, God, I want to say a year and a half, 2 years later, the guy calls me back and he's like, "Hey, I gave the menu board to my boss." And I'm like, "Cool. I mean, honestly, it's a menu board. I don't give a shit." I'm like, I was like, "Okay, cool, man. I'm happy for you. Woo." He's like, No. Let me explain. I'm a voice talent in LA on Cadillac radio. And I gave it to the station owner. The station owner is the artist Snoop Dogg. And he's going to put it up behind his bar in one of his houses. And Snoop would like to get on the phone with you to understand a little bit more about the bucket. He knows about the wings, and he just want to get a little bit of the lore. So when he's hanging out, he could talk about this thing.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry I interviewed Miss Mayim Bialik. I mean, things happen, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah. And so now next thing I know, I'm on the phone with Snoop and I'm talking about, this and that and chicken wings. And he's like, "Does your dad like to smoke?" I'm like, "Yeah, he did." "Cool, baby." All right. It was awesome. And so he invited me to come make wings for him and his crew. And the idea was,
did you do it?
What? Never came.
Never
together.
happened.
No.
Oh.
But what did come together is he's like, "Hey," I said, "Listen, would it be possible? My dad's sick in the hospital. Would it be possible to give him some kind of autograph, and I could say that you came and saw him, or connected about this?" And he goes, "Yeah, I'll think about something." And he got off the phone with me. And so about 2 hours later, the phone rings. It's his assistant. He's like, "Hey, Michael." I'm like, "Yeah. Well, Snoop doesn't really like the idea of signing an autograph for your father. He'd rather do this. Snoop knows that every bar owner is a local celebrity. He'd like to go to the hospital, meet your dad, and have him sign the menu board."
No way.
Yeah.
Really?
Really. Now here's the problem. I call my dad. I am so excited. "Hey, Dad, you won't believe it. Snoop Dogg is going to come to the hospital, visit you, and sign that menu board I told you about." He's like, "Is that the black guy?" Wrong audience.
No.
He just didn't know who he was. This wasn't any kind of racial term. This was just, he didn't know who Snoop was. I'm like, oh. So I called back and I said, "Hey, that's a really gracious offer. The unfortunate thing is he's just not going to know the value of what's happening right now and who you are." And he goes, "Okay." And then he just sent that little video that I sent you.
That's awesome.
The Get Well Soon video. And so,
cool.
I think it's great though. Like it's just such a great representation of who we are, or who we want to be as a people, as a community, especially in hospitality, right? Like we show this love to people every day. And we hopefully give great experiences, right? I remember my dad yelling at an old lady when we had our restaurant where we lived above it because something was wrong with the food he'd prepared. And that wasn't his best moment. But I think over the course of his career serving people, he made a lot of people happy. He created a lot of memories. In fact, after he passed and I went through his drawers, and as one does, it was thousands, man. I mean, there's not tens of thousands of pictures of every happy fan, of every person that came through, of every softball game that was sponsored, of every event, of every Halloween, of every bus outing, of every Oktoberfest.
It's amazing.
He built a family around him of people that love him. And to this day, still talk about that fun they had. And it could be the memory, it could be their youth. But I guarantee if they close their eyes, they smell the wings and the sawdust and the stale beer, and they're there right now.
It's awesome.
That's what we do for people.
So what we do for people is we are going to lay out a challenge.
Yeah.
We are going to make an announcement to the
Are we
digital
going to do that right now?
hospitality community. We're doing it right now.
Oh my
You're
God.
pitching the
Is it what I think it
community.
is?
This is exactly what you think it is.
Do I get to say what I want to say, or do you know what you're going to do?
Forecasting it into the future. No, you are going to
All right.
let you are going to share the stage. We're going to clip this so that we can use it as promotional material to
Okay.
start the idea, to start the movement. So,
Okay.
Michael, please share the digital hospitality community, the big idea for 2025 National Restaurant Association
And
show,
now
Chicago.
I need a big, gravelly, big idea.
I won't mess with it. The big idea, I really had it, but my board isn't ready for me. The big idea is this. So, Sean, you talked about it years ago, right? And we didn't even know each other. I think that's the best part of this.
Yeah.
Right. That we are two people, we're completely disconnected, never had a conversation, but you sent me a video right after. And so I got the idea of a flash mob, as silly as this is, right? And this was popular, what, 90s, early 2000, people were doing them all over the place. But I'm thinking about the world we're in right now. And I think, I'm thinking about how divisive things are. And I'm also thinking about a community that lives and breathes community. Right. And I think right now would be a really great time for a little silliness. Right. Gene Wilder, Willy Wonka, a little nonsense now and then is cherished by the wisest men. Right. Yeah. So our idea, Sean and my idea here, is to do kind of an all over the world flash mob. And what I mean by that, you can Google it, type in ELO, all over the world flash
mob. Put a link in the show notes.
Yeah. And you will see people in train stations, in museums, at classical music events, all doing a flash mob to the same piece of music. And what's genius about that is when they interleave it, they're all doing the same beats. And so we can combine this into one big thing. Mm-hmm. And so I think the challenge that we're going to lay down to the world right now is we want you to put your hand up. We want you to put your hand up, and we want you to say,
that's for you, Charlie
I want
Eblin.
to be one of the first people to dance. I'm comfortable stepping out of my comfort zone, and I'm comfortable having that. That was a junior high or first time. Like, I got to go out on the floor. Somebody's going to dance, right? I'm comfortable representing my vertical. Maybe I'm POS, maybe I'm back office, maybe I'm loyalty, or maybe we're just industry. I don't know, right? I think there's a part for all of this. But what it would be like to both restaurateurs and technologists that in their restaurants, they spin up a flash mob at different parts around the country to that same piece of music. And if we did that at different events throughout the year, this year and into next, maybe the same time, where at FS Tech, MERTEC, RLC, RFDC, NRA, we have our little flash mobs. Maybe with some coordination, we do one big one. NRA seems like it makes sense. I can see people going down the escalators through the thing, spawning up in the side rooms, and everybody coming together one place. And what would it be like if we showed the world how united we are and how much love we have for the game and for each other and for what we do for them? I want you guys to join us in dancing. Right? We're going into election cycle. We're going into times that are interesting, to say the least. And I think a little bit of joy and love of the game would take us a long way, and we come away with some great memories and maybe some headlines.
Well, the beautiful thing is we don't know how we're going to do it, but everything great starts with an idea. Michael came with a great idea. We're putting out a challenge. We have an incredible community of people that are willing to be uncomfortable, that are willing to take risks, that are willing to have fun, that love what they do. We know so many more people are going to be going to Chicago next year. Every year, the show seems to be building momentum on all platforms in real life. It's really, really cool. Yeah. Michael, I love what you guys do. If people want to learn more about Popcorn GTM, well, if you want to get involved in the flash mob, join us on Digital Hospitality on Wednesdays and Fridays on LinkedIn Live. So if you need a connection request, just send it to me on LinkedIn at Sean P. Walchef. I'll send you a link to the room, but you can follow Cali Barbecue Media on LinkedIn. That's where we post all the rooms every Wednesday, Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time. No matter where you are in the world, digital hospitality leaders everywhere. Join us and let me know about the flash mob. If you want in on the flash mob, I'll let you know how it's going to happen. We've got plenty of time to plan for it to happen before 2025 in Chicago. Michael, tell us about Popcorn GTM. How can people find out more?
Yeah. So, I mean, clearly you can find us on LinkedIn under Popcorn GTM. We do some Facebook stuff. You'll find our content on YouTube. If you want to look at our webpage, it's popcorngtm.com. But you can reach me at mbeck@popcorngtm.com. I'm happy to connect with anybody, even if you just want to jam, talk shop, and see where it gets you. Not everything is a selling conversation. I like to make friends. I like to see how I can help. And if I can't help, I can usually hand you to somebody that will. So let's talk.
And what size organizations are typically in your avatar?
Yeah, everything that's well, I would say that you have some funding, right? You're not a mega. You have some fun. I literally, dude, I kid you not. I kid you not. Okay, tell you what, I want to do it, but I won't pay you for 6 months. I'm like, why? Because we don't have any money right now.
Yeah.
Right. So you have some money, right? You have some money. You've got. At the end of the day, though, we have to understand and believe you have a product that they can get somewhere. We'll tell you the good, bad, and the ugly, what you do. Either way, you're going to have a valuable conversation. They'll give you some pointers. But everywhere, everything leading up until, so we'll call it the emerging and disruptive brands, right? The ones that are now beginning to be proven, but the entrenched incumbent, that's not our guy.
Sweet.
Right? We love PAR, but we're not going to help PAR. Right. It's just not, we can't move the needle that far. We want to move and be agile.
Yep.
Right. Creative, disruptive, rock and roll, just a little gangster.
There it is.
Yeah.
Michael Beck, Popcorn GTM. I appreciate it. I appreciate the challenge. Thank you for including the digital hospitality community. Thank you for coming on the show. Can't wait to do some more great work together. Please reach out to him. Please reach out to me. I'm weirdly available. Please share the episode with a friend. Please subscribe on YouTube. Do all the things. We are grateful for you. As always, stay curious, get involved, and don't be afraid to ask for help. We'll catch you guys next week.